How you doing? Welcome to another PodCurt. At least I think this is, and boy do I have some exciting news today. So I think in the last one I was talking about Waiter, like that robot guy that delivers food, and how I was pitching it to Aramark, this big company that runs a lot of food chains kind of across the nation. Oh, okay, let's take a pause for a second. This is nice. This is the view kind of from my apartment on the 8th floor. And yo, look at my room. I just kind of redid it today and put some lights in here. I got a projector running the news. I don't know, it feels nice. Oh, and this whole wall is a whiteboard. I don't know. I like the room. It's fun decorating stuff like this. Okay, so yeah, back to the news. I'm sure you're still anxious, huh? Well, Aramark, I met with them and pitched the idea for like an hour, and it was funny because halfway through the meeting, the fire alarm went off. And so like the meeting kind of got cut in half in the middle of the presentation, and I was able actually just to like get to know the guys there and talk about just random stuff kind of and become friends with them, and I think that was good. That was kind of useful too, that it wasn't, that it was something we could laugh about. I think was good with all these kind of big guys. But yeah, so I pitched it to him, brought a whole presentation. I brought, I don't know if you saw, no you didn't, like a miniature track that the robot would run on, and that is what I brought in. I literally stuck it through the sunroof of Ronald's car in order to drive it over there, and then brought it in, and it worked for them when they saw it, and that's the best thing. And I think they really liked it because they came back to me the next week. They sent me an email. They're like, yeah, let's have a quick meeting and we'll just discuss your technology about any questions we may have. And I go in and little do I know, like in the meeting is some really like high up dude that works at Aramark. He's been there for like 20 years, and I know because I mean like I've looked him up a bunch, and he was a cool guy, and he was actually there, and he like came to meet with me. He like flew down just to visit tech and to see if we could get this operation off the ground. And so Aramark said yes, we're going forward with Waiter. That's the coolest thing. And so it's not going to be exactly how I had initially pictured it, like being in the student center, but it's going to be at this Highland bakery that's been at Tech for a long time, and it was actually just redone. And it's going to be more of a dine-in setting than a takeout. Dine-in versus takeout is like the robot comes to your table if you're dining in and lowers the food down to where you're sitting. Whereas if you're taking out, you're just like sitting in a seat, and then it says, okay, your food's ready to take out and leave. And so you go over to like one of the places where the food's ready, or one of the drop down locations, and there'd be like 5 of them right next to each other, and they say, okay, your food's coming down on drop section number 3. And so you go to number 3 and click, okay, I'm there, lower it. And so the robot comes out and drops your food in like a bag or something, and you take it away and leave. And so that's takeout, but I think this new one's gonna be dine in, and that's gonna be great because it's actually gonna add a greater amount of novelty to this Highland bakery that does exist, and kind of show it in an ideal restaurant setting. And I think this would be so useful because, like, I mean, I was there just doing some light research. No, I don't know. I was there mapping out the floor, and I was looking at the people who do deliver food there as a service. So it's like you go up to the counter, you order your food, and you go sit down and wait for someone to bring it to you. But the people that bring it to you, it was like they kept getting confused and they didn't know where anyone was sitting, and it was just taking away their time from helping more customers or making food faster in the back. And And so I think the robots could be a really cool thing. The only thing about that is I'd have to augment the chip clip in order to hold like a tray of food rather than just being holding a bag. But that's okay. I can do that. I've actually done that before in a previous version. Oh, you guys want to see the robot? I don't know if you've seen it yet in this, but it used to be so much bigger, but we've condensed it down to just this little dude. And so usually there's a case that goes over him, but I'm working on him today. And so there's a bunch of like, this guy picks direction, this guy senses RFID. I don't know, you just got a bunch of components on here, and he is so small and compact. And that's perfect, that's exactly what we're looking for. Testing the components now. We switched out a bunch of them just for things that don't move as much. So basically measuring current and magnetic flux is gonna be the way that we do a lot of the mechanical actions from now on, just because they're more reliable, they don't break, and they have a much longer lifespan. At least that's what I'm thinking. I think that's how it's gonna be. Yeah, so after that, basically by November 20th, I have to have a pretty much working MVP, or like little product that does work with an app that you can order, send it to a server, and the server tells it to a specific robot and tells the robot to go to a location, make a delivery, and then return to its home spot, which would be like a charging zone. And so I think I can do that. It is going to be challenging, and I think I definitely have to bring someone on. Right now I'm trying to decide who to bring on. We'll see who it is, because I definitely need some help understanding the bigger network of the stuff, you know. After that, okay, so what I want to talk about in this one is like what happens after you surpass a goal. And this might be a weird thing, because I mean, you set a goal for yourself, and then it's kind of like, okay, what happens if you reach it? Like, and where do you go from there once you've reached it? And I think the best way to think about that is like if you're Tarzan. All right, this is gonna sound a little weird, but think about if you're Tarzan and you're swinging on a vine or whatever, and you say like, you start here at the vine, you swing and you come over here, and right here is your goal. So you want to swing and come here to the goal. Well, when you're Tarzan, when you see you're coming up to the goal or coming up to the end of your swing, you're looking for the next vine to grab onto or to jump to in order to keep going along the path. And so that's kind of exactly how I think I have to augment, at least how I'm thinking about goals. But sometimes it is hard. It is hard to see the future. And so like, I really didn't know if Aramark was going to accept me or not, if they were going to take a chance on me or not. And I didn't know exactly how they were planning on doing it. And so I guess my goal in the past was just get an acceptance from Aramark in order to build it. And now I'm there. But after I did the presentation, waiting for him to accept it, I didn't halt all activities for a week and wait to see if my goal had been attained. I was pretty much like, okay, even if Aramark doesn't accept me, I'm still gonna be building this dude. I'm still gonna be cooking him out and making him work, because this is Waiter Bro. This is what I'm about. And I really think this has some mega potential. So yeah, I pretty much was also focusing on, if Aramark didn't say yes, then who I would go to afterwards, or how I would keep building the robot better and better, and start making the network infrastructure. But I think that's where I'm headed. That's the final goal down the line. That's the bigger vine, or maybe the bigger set of vines. But yeah, basically just look ahead past the goal. Once you're about to attain it, you should see what the next goal is. At least that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know, maybe it's also good too, like you set a goal and then you stop and kind of reset your reference point. So like you say, okay, wow, I'm capable of this. I didn't think I was going to be capable of this. Where should I go from here once you do reach it? Because sometimes there is a big threshold kind of after there. So I guess there are two ways of approaching a goal. We'll call it approaching, or maybe carrying through with a goal. Because I think it definitely is best to frame your goal at the start of your action, because if not, you're just not headed in any direction. You're kind of just doing everything. But if you have a goal, you at least have something that you're pointed towards. And I don't know, maybe this seems just like mega obvious, and it probably is, but I think it's good to think in this kind of way in order to at least reach a goal, reach something higher. I don't know if that's a way to put it. Is it something higher, more divine? Because I mean, I think what I'm doing is like, I think I'm doing exactly what I want to do at this moment. If I was just reborn immediately into my body and then looked at all my surroundings and understood where I was headed, I definitely want to keep doing what I'm doing today. Like, I think someone said, if I wake up for too many mornings in a row not wanting to do what is on the agenda for today, then I stop and reframe reference. But I think on the agenda for today and the next long while is what I want to do. I don't know, how cool is that? I'm using robots to make an actual function to the world, and a function that's not just in manufacturing or in animatronics or something like that in Disney. This is a function that serves a solid purpose and is completing actions to help the world run smoother and quicker. And I don't know, is that better? It's gotta be better. I don't know who can really decide that, oh, I'm the judge of the best things that are good for the universe. How can you be the judge of that, Chief? Maybe you can, I don't know. But yeah, if I was, I'd think this is best. Because yeah, I'd want to snap my fingers and be like, all right, give me an Arduino, give me a motor, I'm trying to build something here, give me some LED lights, and yeah, make it double time. And so then that way you don't have to wait for any more like 2-day delivery when you might not even have the motivation anymore to build a thing. And there could be such a network, like under every building there could just be a repository of most commonly ordered items, and each building can have a different repository. And so as long as you have communication between the two buildings, you have like one little track between the two, then you can easily transport goods from one building to another, one repository to another. So you can crowdsource repositories within a large scale like city, because I mean cities are the things that move the fastest, right? And this won't be as useful if you're just like one dude in the middle of a farm in the middle of the woods somewhere, because then you need a drone for that. But in cities you can't really fly drones everywhere because they can't make it inside of buildings, and there's a bunch of regulations on them. And I think drone technology in cities won't really be allowed for at least 5 more years, because delivery really happens at the ground floor, and drones can't lift that much. But if you're trying to lift individual items, then the individual items are things that are only transported a small distance. And especially within a building, that's how the distance will be converted. But I wonder, within a group of buildings, how many buildings should have, you can so make a program that does scales different repositories that you can have in the basement of a bunch of buildings. You get an input of the volume and the volume of the room that you have, and so then basically you can upscale any sort of sorting or storage and sorting methods that is automated, that can then be outputted to a drone that can take it somewhere. And so if you can create a method in order to tell you, okay, we want to have this great repository within a quarter mile of every person. And so then how do you have the goods spread out in that instance? And then you can also just like be shuffling goods all around currently in order to maintain this kind of constant level of the general repository, as I was saying. I think that is definitely going to be how it's going to function. Because using dudes on bikes, at least that's what I'm thinking. In cities, you have a dude on a bike, and that's basically Amazon 2-hour delivery. And I think the fee there is pretty expensive. And restaurants can definitely output to this system as well. So food and all items within, this is going to be, alright, I don't want to be weird. This isn't as bad as it sounds, but there's like a Black Mirror episode. Oh no, it wasn't Black Mirror. It was like Love, Death, and Robots, and it had the dude who played Venom in Spider-Man 3, and it was like they opened their refrigerator or their freezer, and there was like a city in there getting built, and it's like slowly the city surpassed current age and started like everything started moving a lot quicker. And basically, from another one, the yogurt needed to kind of improve its efficiency and functionality, and that is completely involving the movement of items. And so if I can do what was done for transport of communication through the internet, if I can do that for transport of items through waiter, then you can really upscale the speed at which things are created, because a lot of things are limited by delivery times of items. And if you knew that you could create something today by getting your items like with 5 or 10 minute delivery for every item that you need to order, then the amount of engineering that could be accomplished quickly, or even design or anything, could be outstanding. That could be really cool. Yes, that's big dreams down the line. That's big dreams down the line. But yeah, right now I just need to focus on really the network architecture of waiter systems working to navigate each robot specifically. And might have to talk to some friends about it and see if any of them want to join. And yeah, I think that's it for PodCurt. Thanks for listening. Here's a picture for my mama. Oh. Goodbye.